I am old enough to remember when Spencer Rattler was once believed to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Well, he had a great week at the Senior Bowl. People are buzzing about him. He was named Senior Bowl MVP. I'm going to try to talk about this since everybody in my house was sick over the course of the last 2 weeks. I caught it, ended up with laryngitis, so I'll do the best I can on this episode of Football Scout 365's After Further Review. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you to check out the QB analysis videos covering the top 5 quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL Draft. In addition, check out the latest Who is the RB1 in the 2024 NFL Draft Series. I already posted Michigan running back Blake Corum and Texas running back Jonathan Brooks, and I just added Trey Benson as well. Let us know in the comments who you think the top quarterback will be or the top running back prospect will be in the 2024 NFL Draft. And one last thing, don't forget to check out our website, footballscout365.com, where you can find our NFL Draft Big Board, our player rankings, player scouting reports, mock drafts, and a whole lot more, all on our website, footballscout365.com. South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler significantly boosted his prospects for the 2024 NFL Draft after a great week at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama. He was the top quarterback for the American team throughout the week, and he earned this recognition through a vote by his defensive peers at the event. During the actual Senior Bowl broadcast, NFL Network analyst Daniel Jeremiah, he continued to praise Spencer Rattler's performance throughout the week-long event. Now, he went on to say during the broadcast, and he wanted to mention that he had reached out to Shane Beamer, Spencer Rattler's coach at South Carolina, and how Shane Beamer had mentioned to him the impact that Jalen Hurts had on Spencer Rattler during his time at Oklahoma and prior to his time transferring to South Carolina, and how he learned from Jalen Hurts the process of transferring from one school to another and how you had to earn the respect of a locker room, how you had to come in there, you had to be humble yet hungry, and how you had to really work hard to earn the respect of your teammates. And that's exactly what Spencer Rattler did. And he earned 2-time captain status at South Carolina. And even though this team had some ups and downs in the 2 years that Spencer Rattler spent at South Carolina, there were a lot of injuries this past season, for example, on the offensive line. And Spencer Rattler really showed his growth as a leader on this team, never really complaining. And that just speaks leaps and bounds about how far this kid has come since he was just that 17-year-old kid on the Netflix show that he starred in, QB1. If you guys remember how cocky he was on that show, he has come a long way from that 17-year-old kid to the point where he is right now. Now, overall, Rattler's performance at the Senior Bowl, it captured the attention of scouts and the media, standing out among other NFL draft prospects such as Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. This is the primary reason why you participate in this kind of event. If you do well enough, people are going to talk about you and the word is just going to spread. It's basic marketing. And in the case of Spencer Rattler, the word coming out of Mobile, Alabama is pretty united in that he has absolutely elevated himself into at least the early second round of the 2024 NFL Draft, maybe even the late first round discussion overall. So now, obviously, Spencer Rattler, he's not the perfect prospect, but as I said in the opening, I am old enough to remember when analysts and scouts said that he was going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I didn't agree with that even at the time because there is only one Patrick Mahomes, obviously, but he does provide some similar traits and characteristics at the quarterback position. He has the arm talent. He can make on and off platform throws. He has solid mobility to keep plays alive, and he had to do that a lot at South Carolina, playing behind an injured and inconsistent offensive line. Now, in his career, Rattler, he's thrown for almost 11,000 yards. He has 77 touchdown passes, but it is the 32 career interceptions that everyone looks at and critiques, and rightfully so. But you have to remember, just this past year in 2023, if we're looking at his most recent success, which he had a pretty solid year in 2023, South Carolina's pass blocking grade ranked 106th nationally, according to Pro Football Focus. Another data point from 2023 that you have to consider is the total amount of pressures and sacks that Rattler faced. And he was at the bottom of college football. He was pressured 186 times. That is the fourth worst in FBS, according to Pro Football Focus. So by comparison, Shedeur Sanders, he was the second worst. He faced 194 total pressures. You have to consider these factors. You have to look at the tape, and you have to make a decision based on what the numbers and the data tell you. And you have to compare that to the tape. How much of this is on Spencer Rattler? How much of this is him making the wrong read or making a bad decision? And the data tells us that maybe some of that is in there. But then when you watch the tape, you see him really just trying to get rid of the football, trying to get away from pressure, escape pressure, and just trying to make an on-target throw while on the move. And he has had a lot of success being that type of player. So with all that said, the poor offensive line, all the pressure that he faced, etc., Rattler still managed to have a solid year in 2023. He threw for 3,000 yards. He had a touchdown to interception ratio of 18-8. He ultimately had his best season since his redshirt year at Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley, where he threw for 3,000 yards. He had 28 touchdowns that year to only 7 interceptions. Spencer Rattler, he has 42 starts under his belt. He's played 5 years of college football. He's competed in the Big 12, in the SEC conference as well. He's an experienced player. So when you hear about the leadership, when you hear about the maturity and the growth, and you match that with the skill set, you have to believe he's a guy that NFL GMs wouldn't hesitate to take a chance on in the 2024 NFL draft. Now, as far as his NFL draft stock is concerned, if we take a look at the consensus data, he is being mocked in rounds 3 and 4 currently. I would pay attention to updated and new mocks that are going to be coming out in the coming weeks, because you should see his stock rise into the middle to early second round range on average. That's where I have him currently. And I would even consider him in the late round 1 range as well. Some of the teams he is currently being mocked to include, and I've seen the Giants, the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All of these mocks have him in the 3rd and 4th round. So these aren't necessarily updated mock drafts that are being, calculated into this data. But I believe any of these teams would be lucky to have a guy like this if he's going to be available in the 3rd or 4th round. But I would not bet on him being available in the 4th round, barring something drastic happening in the NFL Combine or some sort of character concern just popping up out of nowhere. I just don't see a world where he could be drafted lower than the 3rd round of the 2024 NFL draft. Okay, we made it this far. My voice, obviously, it's terrible. I want to apologize for that once again. But tell me your thoughts on Spencer Rattler, and admit to the world if you were one of those people out there that thought that he was going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Do you believe that he could be a legit round 2 pick, maybe sneak into the late 1st round of the 2024 NFL draft? Let me know in the comments section what you think, and please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more great NFL draft content.